So let me introduce myself a little more. My name is Turkhan. My full-time job is digital communications lead for BP, which is an international oil and gas company. I assume everybody knows this since you're in the same domain. So, yeah, my job is to make company in layman's terms. I'm trying to say make company look as good as possible. So do it internally, externally. Develop content, share visual and written content in a way so that the image of our company is represented at the best level. So this is my full-time job yet. Apart from my full-time job, I have founded social venture for Azerbaijani audience because it's mainly in Azerbaijani, because we have lots of uh, media and tools in English, which we don't have in Azerbaijani, to be honest. So the aim of this platform that I have founded is to help young people like yourselves or those with limited experience to be able to advance their careers and be able to improve themselves in a way that they could sell themselves when it comes to landing a job. So yeah, Urfan is waiting in the lobby. I think you're accepting them one by one. So when Afag wrote me through my LinkedIn account, so the topic, choose a topic among CV writing, resume writing, or motivation letter writing, and even when we had a conversation with Rashad and Afag yesterday, we had a little discussion, and I said, "What do you really guys want from me to share with you?" My preference is to share a specific soft skill that would help you guys. You are technical people, which is great, but you may lack some soft skills, which would not be, which would be a sort of um, lagging enabler to not just land a job. So there are soft skills that help you to expand your network. There's soft skills that help you to enhance your personal brand. And then finally, after you succeed with improving your personal brand and expanding your network, to successful land a job. So I thought, yes, we would still talk about CV because Afak's initial suggestion was to talk about resume writing. So I will start with resume writing, but it'll be mixed. So it'll be about communication skills, it'll be about personal brand, it'll be about networking. But just to start, I have selected CV writing skills, if you don't mind. Uh, but please be active. Stop me, ask me any questions, because when it's just one way, it's not as effective as it could be if it's more interactive and two-way communication. I can admit Urfan because he's still waiting in the lobby. Urfan. Okay.
Actually, we are admitting it has already been 15 times, I think, but he may have some problems, internal problems. We are accepting again and again.
Okay, no problem. Can you guys see my screen?
And not yet.
Not yet. Okay. No problems. Let me share it again. I think I better share my entire desktop so that, yeah, so you can see. How about now?
Yes, now we can see.
Yes.
Okay. I think some of you, if you have already participated in one of my previous sessions, you've probably seen this before, but I'm sure there are lots of people who have not been in my session. So today we're going to talk about effective CV writing, how to make a CV as a headline offers that sells. Um, I'm going to start with my traditional question. Please be active. So My first question before we start, when do you think, if you have already been in one of my sessions, please do not answer. I'm asking those who have never been in my sessions, just for the sake of fairness. So my first question is, when do you think the very first CV was generated? Any ideas, guys?
Ayhan raised his hand.
Okay, I don't see hands, so please, Afak,
Okay,
can
I
you
can
please
tell.
moderate? And
Yes.
yes, go ahead, Ayhan.
No, I want to say, can you record if it's possible, please?
It is being recorded,
Yes.
no worries. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So
And
any ideas, guys?
in the chat, one of the people, Omon Ochelov from Uzbekistan, wrote that ancient Roma.
Wow. That's that may be one of, yeah, close. Okay. Uh thank you so much. Any other ideas? Guys, please be active.
In ancient Greek, maybe Greece.
Okay. Okay, pretty much the same answer.
Um,
Okay, so
people
out of
wrote that, for example, Javidan wrote Greece and Jawahir wrote Milan,
wow.
and Nigar
Okay.
Hasanova wrote maybe it is after 2000, some of them again Greece and Italy.
Okay, pretty much same, and they're very close. Thank you for your answers. The very first official CV was created by Leonardo da Vinci in 1482. Sorry.
Okay, continue. I said in 1915.
Okay, that was among the answers. You mean 1915? Okay, so that was not close. So actually, when obviously Leonardo da Vinci created his first CV, he didn't know that it would be named as CV officially, but that perfectly suited as CV. And we will come back to this. And before going further, let me just, it's not readable, obviously. Let me just share with you some key points of CV. I think it wasn't just one page, it was more than one page, either 2 or 3 pages. Some sources say two, some sources say three, but doesn't matter. 5 items that I took away from CV are this. So this gentleman basically describing his um, tools, his ability, his capability, what he's actually selling. So what he's saying, we can also read that I have a sort of extremely light and strong bridges adapted to be most easily carried, and with them you may pursue at any time, flee from the enemy. So as you can see, the empire was probably in deep of wars and conflicts, and this was very in-demand skills. What Leonardo da Vinci was trying to portray, showcase in his CV, because it wasn't CV called CV back then, that here's what I can offer. And in the second bullet, he's saying that uh, I know when a place is like defeated, to take the water out and the trenches and then make endless variety of bridges. So it's all about technology. As you can see, for that age, all of these bullets that he described in his CV was really helpful. So he was, I don't quite know the history, but he was a very genius person. He had so many sides of him. He was a philosopher, he was an engineer, he was a math genius, so he was a painter at the same time. So that was a universal person, but it doesn't mean that that's because it's because he has been that person. So that's why he's offering this such a beautiful CV. But because he's been very straightforward, he's been very on point, spot on when it comes to showcase what it really needs to be put on CV. So as you can see, as you can read further, whatever is the line, it potentially offers. It offers not potentially. It actually offers a real solution to the problem, to the to the state which was in the midst of a war, and they would presumably need this all of this technology or techniques or methodology to adapt and then win their cases, the war. So yeah, we will come back to this later. I want to ask another question. So CVs have been all the way through. We had CVs anywhere around the world in every business. So hiring managers receiving quite a few CVs uh, during the year. And my question is, how much time do you think actually a hiring manager spends on reading your CV? For example, Javidan or Gunel. For example, you have sent your CVs to a company named BP or Total, whatever. How much time do you think they spend on reading your CV until they decide that they will keep your CV or they will give it away?
6 seconds.
6 seconds, yeah.
Who is that? I don't see the names. Let me just.
Mohammed bin Ammar.
Muhammad, thank you so much. 6 seconds. Okay. Any other thoughts?
People are writing in the chat. They are writing 50 seconds, 7
Please, Afa,
seconds,
can
5
you read
seconds.
them loudly? Yes. Okay.
Yes. 10 seconds, 1 minute, 30 seconds. And for the first impression, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, again 6 seconds, like this. Like all of the answers are seconds.
Okay, seconds. You're all right. Muhammad, Javidan, everyone who has responded, this is 6 to 7 seconds. You are very right. So this is the time in general, in total, in average, I mean, hiring managers decide whether to love or leave your CV. Yes, but you can ask like, come on, I have, for example, at least 2-page CV. How on earth hiring manager would know during the first 6 or 7 seconds whether to keep it or give it away? The answer is very simple. This is the answer. Your CV actually needs to have this 3 key points: summary, experience, and achievements. Maybe I haven't seen your CVs. Maybe some of you already following this golden rule. And this is, by the way, not just an internationally recognized practice. Practice that it accepted only on an internet. It's everywhere. It's valid for every other country. So it is actually internationally accepted practice. But what I'm seeing from my 25-year tiny experience of dealing with different kind of CVs, that even the most experienced people are not following this simple rule, seemingly simple rule, because you really need to have there's a philosophy behind this key points. So what we have just seen in Leonardo da Vinci's CV, we can call it CV, it had just suggestions, but we will come back to that. So this is the key points of a good killer CV. So summary. What do I really mean by summary?
Profile.
Summary. Excuse me.
Sorry, I said profile. Our profile.
Exactly. I think it's again Muhammad, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. This is basically your profile. So I haven't seen your CV, but from your reflection, I can realize that you already know this. This is very good because hiring managers, they look at your profile, at your summary. So at your profile and summary, that is the best section which reflects your profile. And you can Google it. I mean, it's everywhere. It's not a secret anymore. But the quality CV needs to have a summary. So it needs to be short. This is exactly why in that short summary you need to make it in a compelling way, in a way that the hiring manager would, first of all, it would grab their attention. This is exactly why I have mentioned 50 to 70 words, because you guys know the attention span is getting lower and lower. Nobody loves to read lengthy content, so try to keep it as short as possible. So 50 to 70 words are okay. You can say that, oh my goodness, I have so many experience, I have participated in uh, that many conferences. I've gone through 2 or 3 internships. I had this extracurricular activity. You can have whatever experience you had, but the key here is that you have to make it short. You can actually make it, I think it's 50 and 70 is like what, 3 to 4 sentences each of 20 words, say, not more. By the way, you have to keep the sentences short too. You can have, like, I've seen in one summary, it was about 80 words. It was either 1 or 2 words, 2 sentences. So it was too big. Try to make your sentences short too. And by sweet, I mean, it doesn't need to have blah blah. It needs to be on point, exactly what Mr. Da Vinci put on his CV. It was all relevant. It was all specific. So it needs to reflect hiring companies' values, definitely, because look at ourselves. When we're seeing someone who shares our values, our interests, we are so blossomed. We're so happy. We feel good, basically, because that's a normal social reaction. So that is same for company. So it needs to reflect company values too. And you can get, it's very easy to get it. You can refer to their publications, their social media accounts, anywhere. So but make sure that um, your summary reflects the hiring company's values too. It's probably the key one of the key aspects of your summary. um your top required skills, that's, well, that's a kind of common sense type of point. So it needs to brief your top required skills. That's for sure. So for example, in your area, what can it be? I don't know, if you're an engineer, you put the petroleum engineer, but it doesn't need to be just one. You would really need to have a couple more skills. They can be soft skills as well, because in this virtual world, especially, um, every company's expectation is that candidates are coming with already built-in soft skills, because some of them don't have time, some of them don't want to spend time on that. So if you have those soft skills like communication skills, I don't know, Excel skills, so it varies depending on the company. But make sure that
I am sorry, Turkhan Bey.
Yes.
One of the participants asked a question. Eldenis asks that for the second option, shouldn't we do it on motivation letter?
Oh, hell yes. Yeah, definitely. Most definitely. Of course, that's like given. That's natural. Yes, you have to make it, but make sure that you don't fake it. I have seen some samples where examples of motivation letters where the candidate, it was obvious that the candidate has copied and pasted it from somewhere. You can actually get some idea from Google or anywhere, from your friend, anywhere you want, but make sure it's genuine. Well, just back to your question, yes, it needs to be in your motivation letter, but make sure that you make it genuine, right? So it's not copy paste, because they really get disappointed when you see that it's a real replication of already shared ideas and suggestions. So yes, it needs to be in your motivation letter. That's given. Yeah, that's all about summary. So experience part. This is obviously the second important. Once you have manage to make the hiring manager interested, once you grab their attention, the second step will be reading it until the end. Because if you have made them interested in your summary, that's for sure. It's for sure that they will go on and read the further parts of your CV. So experience part, again, I'm seeing a lot of CVs, even young people who has a relatively not big experience, but they tend to keep it very busy. They put all their academic and out of academic activities, anything that they think that the bigger CV, the higher chances of it of the CV be successful. No, that's not the case. It needs to be relevant. So if you're applying to um, for example, I'm assuming we're all in the industry, all here in the audience are industry people, right? Uh, Oil and gas people, or we have different people too. Afak, what is the situation? We have just oil and gas students, right?
And do we have students from any other field? One of them have written that geophysics.
Geophysics. So it's,
for example.
yes. Sorry, I interrupted you. Are you there?
Like I said, I'm from a mechanical engineering field, so it's close
Okay.
to the petroleum engineering.
Yes. It's close. It's close. You're right. So basically the same domain. I realized. So the reason I'm saying it, because if you're applying to a slightly different area, you may have unrelevant experience in your CV. Try to keep it relevant. So that's pretty straightforward. So it needs to be relevant. If you had experience in, say, a design agency, you wouldn't need really to keep it there, because as a hiring manager, it wouldn't add any value to your overall profile. So try to keep it relevant. Yeah, it's again common sense, but even if we've been telling this for a while now, I'm still seeing some CVs which does not reflect job description. I mean, it's simple. Yes, it's common sense, but you don't follow, guys. Make it by the second important seller point of CV is that it reflects the job description. That is why your CV your CV is a dynamic document. You can't just have one CV and send it over to thousands of employers. No, it's not going to work. So you have to keep it very relevant, and plus you have to reflect the job description. And this is very easy. You basically open the current vacancy job posting, and then not copying and pasting. You're just referring and trying to adjust your job experience to those are reflected in the job description. So it needs to be interlinked somehow. That's, having said this, I understand that this is one of the because I've seen that many people fail doing so. What I realized that one of the major contributing problems is that they don't have communication skill, writing skill, to put it that way. So again, when we had a talk with Rashad and Afag, I mentioned that we need to keep it a communication, predominantly about communication. So as it relates, I will mention that. So it's really important that you improve your communication skill, because this is one of those top skills. So before you put in your summary that we have talked about it recently, that you have this communication skill, make sure you really improve your communication skill, because it's all about communication. Written, oral, doesn't matter. So it needs to be perfectly written in a way that it needs to be compelling. It needs to be genuine. Don't copy paste. You can take some I have some ideas by looking at other CVs, other sources, at job description, but try to make it genuine. Okay, so the reason I mentioned the communication, if you have a really good communication skill, you would basically make the hiring manager like your CV, because writing really matters, communication really matters. So again, in the one of the most important moments of your experience section is your talents, because every employer is after talents. After certain times, even if they don't have relevant jobs, they want to renew their staff. So they're after those, you know, talented young um, people like yourselves. So make sure you have your top talents there. So if you ask like what is the most in demand talent, I would probably say which would be really pertinent to your area is communication, as we have already mentioned, and probably some Power BI. We talked about it when we had this physical session in Baku Higher Old School. So Power BI has been increasingly in demand skill. So yes, we're not talking about talent right now, but because they're interlinked, I'm mentioning this as well. So try to put your soft skills and your talent, the areas that you're most talented um, in the experience part. Um, the next part, which is sort of enabler of, I call it enabler of experience section, because this is very relevant. This is very similar to your experience part, because your achievements come through your achievements come through your experience, basically. So again, as we have seen in Leonardo da Vinci's CV, try to use particular skills. Never ever put their very generic statements like I am very action oriented. I'm very serious and responsible person. These are really damaging your the reputation of your CV. So try to make it very specific. By specific, I actually mean skills that would be helpful and relevant to the position that you're applying.
Dear Turkhan Bey, we have two questions. I would
Sure.
like to say.
Yes, stop me anytime. Yeah, you're doing great. Stop me anytime. If there are any questions, please go ahead.
Okay, the first one is from Asker Askerov. He says that what is Power BI?
Okay, good question, Asker. Power BI. I don't use that program, but I'm aware that this is more and more in demand tool. I think it's a tool. It's online. You can Google it, and I think it's free. There are tons of sources. I think Power BI helps you to prepare reports. It's basically nests. It basically serves as a hub of all reports. That's my understanding, but I may be wrong. So it's on the net. You can Google. But why I specifically mentioned that skill, because I have analyzed many vacancies in your area, and I've seen that they require that skill, and it's very easily comprehensible. It's on the net, and I think there are some free courses as well on Coursera or somewhere else. So yeah, it's basically about reporting. It's more relevant to the finance world, but I have seen quite a few oil and gas related vacancies which require this skill too. I don't know, maybe it has some other opportunities or capacity to be used in the oil and gas industry, true too. But this was just an example. It doesn't mean that this is the only skill that you may require. So it's basically, it's basically written on the job posting, on the vacancy statement. So you can see that at the end of the document, they basically mention the preferred requirements and then must have requirements and etc. So yes, Asker, this is a software, I'm assuming, um, that can be useful in your potential job endeavor in the future. So I think it's pretty in demand skill. So go for it. And the good news is that it's free. So
Thank you,
yeah,
Turkhan Bey. And the
my
second
pleasure.
question,
Yeah.
um,
Yes.
Nigar Hasanova wrote that how can we improve communication skills since I guess it is not only about speaking with people. For example, yeah, can you give example how to improve communication skills?
Afak, let me see if I got you correct. You cut off and I didn't hear the entire. So the question is, what is how can we improve our communication skills, right?
And yes, and in addition, she says that I guess it is not only speaking with people.
Yes. You're guessing right. You're guessing right, Nigar. So let me just finish this part, and I will most definitely come back to that, because as I promised you guys yesterday, we will cover a couple other topics too. So this is the core of the session, but we will talk about communication as well. So, but if I forget, Afak, please remind me at the end, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. So, Nigar, we will come back to that, to your question. Yeah, reflect particular activity. This is very, again, common sense. You basically, well, in the pandemic world, maybe the chances have shrinked a bit because we don't have this, physical activities anymore. We're not going anywhere. We're not attending any conferences or, you know, any physical activity. Yeah, that's the sad reality or tough reality of this COVID environment. But I'm sure you guys are having quite a few online events, because I'm aware that SP is quite good in making it happen. I mean, with offering lots of opportunities. So um, uh, it's a bit challenging. I understand in this virtual world, it's a bit challenging. But I don't know. You name them. You name them. But be again specific. Any activity that you have delivered basically. So it could have been any a volunteer, but very valuable contribution of yours. So yeah, mention a particular activity that you have been part of. Yeah, again, the results. Every managing hiring manager, I'm sorry, want to see some specific. This is the juicy part of your CV. If you put there really uh, results like numbers and figures, like, after my contribution, company has decided to do something differently, or for example, after your suggestion, the company or the employer or an entity was able to reduce their cost base uh, by 5% or 8%, whatever is the number. So put their numbers. Numbers is really making your CV attractive and making it really juicy. Doesn't matter you've done it during your internship or volunteer activity. Just put there some numbers, and I'm sure if you think thoroughly, you can make some numbers. It doesn't matter you've been part of any cost saving experience or not. You can still have some facts and figures. So that's also one of the key points of achievement section. This is sample CV. In the past, the headline said sample quality CV, but I couldn't keep that word there because I'm not quite sure if my CV is really that quality. But this is just to have an idea. You can actually access my CV on my LinkedIn account or somewhere else. So this is just to have an idea how does the not ideal, okay, how the preferred CV would look like in reality. As you can see, I have put, yes, this is more than 70 words, but this is because of my 2-decade experience. So I've been in the career for more than 20 years. So I couldn't really make it less than this. But yeah, I'm sure if I did my best, I could do it less. But yeah, again, so this is how the summary part looks. You mention your experience, your years, if that's the case. And then actually, I think the reason why my summary looks slightly better because I made some customization to the summary section. I put there a paragraph, the second paragraph, as you can see, where I mention my specific abilities. This can perfectly go to your achievement section too. So if you want to keep it shorter than this, you can take that achievements and achievements part and make it even shorter. So then experience part, yeah, this is not the experience part I have. It's really big. So so I put just to have an idea. So you put your experience and then you put your education and other soft skills that you have.
Dear Turkhan Bey, I'm sorry again interrupting.
Don't be sorry. That's okay. Yeah.
And one of the participants asks that Günel Ağakşieva, we shouldn't use the I personal pronouns in our CVs.
Sorry, I didn't get the question. We shouldn't use what?
I think she says that it is better for us to use passive voice rather than writing I am doing like this or I am like this. She says that.
Well, yeah, it's a good question. Well, first of all, Ayan. Is that Ayan?
No, Günel Ağakşieva.
Günel, sorry. Günel, this is a very good question, first of all. This is to do with the question that was raised by, I think, Nigar previously about the importance of having communication skills. So this is arguable, but my observation is that putting it directly from you would matter more. That would create more. That would basically make you more personal. So whatever is the communication content that you're sharing, this is a piece of communication content too, isn't it? So it's a CV, it's a written content, yeah. So my observation is your CV needs to be it needs to be kind of living organism, living document, if you will. So it needs to talk with the with hiring manager. So I strongly recommend to put it in personal, so not in passively in a passive way. So make it as direct and personal as possible. So not as if you're talking about someone else. You have created this document. You can't be talking about yourself as if you're talking about someone else. I'm seeing actually really quite a few examples on LinkedIn too. People are creating their CV, LinkedIn accounts, which is basically a type of modern CV too. They're putting it in a passive voice. So it's really not clear why would they do that, unless this is a really influential person like Bill Gates, whose account is obviously being administered by someone else. That would be probably the only relevant case. But other than that, put it directly from your make it personal. Don't make it sound as if you're writing about someone else. So that is my recommendation as a communication person. So
Thank you,
I hope.
Turkhan Bey.
My
And
pleasure.
the second question,
Yes.
Orhan Nasipov says that a minute ago you said we should use numbers to attract. He says that which numbers? Both numbers.
Good question. Who was asking? I'm sorry, I missed his name.
Orhan.
Orhan. Orhan. So if you can see on this example sample CV in this middle section, work experience section, in the second paragraph, I have mentioned, I have shared some specific numbers. Like, for example, my area is communication, right? I have been looking after my company's social platforms like Facebook and Twitter, and in some cases LinkedIn too, and then our internet page. So if you have noticed, I can even read it loudly. So I did what? I have redesigned and launched the company intranet. And I've mentioned that it has over 2 million unique clicks. I'm assuming you guys know what unique clicks means. So it means that 2 million different clicks on the intranet. Basically, this is my achievement, and by showing off numbers, and I'm also mentioning that I had 83% returning visitors in 2018, and then plus on social media, I'm mentioning that I have created our online fan base and traffic from 0 to 31K, which is also a number. It shows real number, real value that you generated for the company. This is what I mean by number, Orhan. I assume this responded. This answers your question.
And
Yes,
thank you
thank you.
again.
Thank you.
And
So
the
yeah,
last question.
yes, sure.
And Torval asks us, should we put photo in the CV?
I've been expecting this question. So the short answer is no. As you can see, I don't have it too, and it's not required in the States or in Europe, for the very reason that as all other human beings, hiring managers can be biased too. For example, if someone puts the photo which shows a person having this piercing and in some cases special glasses, or maybe someone looks really beautiful, and that also can make a hiring manager to give to make a biased decision. So yeah, someone could be covered, someone could be really exposed. So these all are making hiring manager a little have a little biased approach. So my recommendation, and this cannot be like mandatory from an employer. Nobody can say you have to share your photo. There are some exceptions, of course, if the industry is like I don't know, modeling industry or design agencies, you name them. There may be some exceptions, but all in all, you are not supposed to share your photo because there is a probability that it can make your hiring manager make a wrong assumptions and make some wrong conclusions in both ways, positively or negatively. So yeah, I don't recommend putting photos on CVs. Any other questions, Afak? Before I
No, there is no question. Thank you.
Okay, my pleasure. So we've talked about the second section 2, experience. We talked about numbers, why they're important. And the third final section is your education. I'm sure, well, there are some industries which don't really pay attention on your education. They only concentrate on your experience. But there are really some huge organizations and entities, like, for example, United Nations organization. They really care about your education. So So you basically need to have this is why you need to have your education, because it tells a lot from your background. So yeah, the education is followed by your soft skills, but again, it's very flexible. You can put your some of your soft skills in the summary section, like I did, and I called it core competencies, which included well, you can see some basic major competencies that I possess. Well, this is yes.
I am sorry. And
No problems.
there is a question. Nazrin Karimli asks that, is it good to add more than one secondary education in CV? For example, chess, musical education, or if someone had 2 secondary schools, etc.
Let me tell you, it depends. I would, well, first of all, I haven't told this. You have to keep your CV as brief, short and sweet. We call it short and sweet. It's short and sweet in a way that it's short, but it reflects all the key facts. So when it comes to education, again, not every employer are crazy about your education, but there are some who are really after the education. They probably decide only based on your education. If you don't have proper education, they won't let you in. So it's again it all boils down to relevance. If that piece of information is relevant, your secondary or whatever education you want to mention, then put it. If not, don't put it. So any extra unnecessary, irrelevant information wouldn't make your CV look better. Trust me. It would just create extra additional business, which wouldn't make the assessor uh, feel good about your CV. So if it's really, really value adding education, be it secondary or any extra academic education, yes, include it. Otherwise, don't. Like if you're applying to job posted on Shell's website, why would you include in the education section that you had you have graduated from painting school, for example? What value would it add? Nothing. So it depends. It depends. But mainly my answer is no. Don't put anything irrelevant. That's not making your CV any better. Yeah,
Thank you.
this is my pleasure. This is the end of this CV part, and we still have like 10 more minutes. So we can, before coming to any extra questions, I would like to talk about the importance of communication. Communication is totally different session, and I hope that in the future, when we have opportunity, we can talk about communication largely. But someone has asked the question that is whether communication is important or not. Well, guys, especially in this era, communication is key. That's all what you need. And by communication, coming back to the question raised recently, I mean both written and oral, verbal communication. This CV is a vivid example that if you have a really good writing skills, you can make your be it summary section or experience section. So in a way that it basically makes the hiring manager love your CV. It's all about communication, isn't it? So yes, you have to think about communication skills. We will hopefully will probably follow up with Afaq in the future if we have more opportunity. We'll talk about communication skills too, but they're also interlinked. Yes, you have to have communication skills and how to improve your communication skills. It's a long story too, but I'm making it a little shorter. It's all about, if it's about written communication, it's all about experience. You have to write. Well, first of all, of course, you have to know the language properly. But once you know the language, you have to practice this a lot. Write, guys. We all live in social world. Write lots of blogs. I'm seeing some of you already doing good. Some of SP people putting blogs. React to, hey, let me tell you something really important. Like, I'm sure you've noticed that our CEO, Bernard Looney, I hope you know him. So he's our newly elected CEO. He started from this year, 2020. He's been very active on LinkedIn, as if you've noticed, and I'm sure some other CEOs as well in the industry also active. Guys, this is the perfect opportunity. Write questions, reflect on their notes. Yes, they may not be able to respond to your questions or points that you are putting there, but I have seen some examples when Bernard actually responded to someone who was not in the company. I think he was a student. So this is another place, another platform to practice your communication skill. Maybe you would you would want to practice somewhere else rather than start directly with Bernard Looney's page, just to show you at your best. So the bottom line is, guys, keep writing. If you want to improve your communication skills, once you have learned all of those basics, grammar and key points, you have to start to practice it. Write on LinkedIn, on Facebook, whichever platform is more relevant. I think when it comes to CVs, career development, LinkedIn is the king. It's the best. It's the best platform. But you can do on all other platforms too. I don't know. There are quite a few other platforms, but most popular is LinkedIn. So to kind of improve and make your communication more effective, you have to practice. You have to practice it. Yeah, why they're all interlinked? Because as we have already mentioned, when you try to sell your CV, when you're able to sell your CV, when your CV is written properly, when it's strong, when it has only the relevant data in it, when it's juicy, when it's short and sweet. Yeah, that's the key things that make your CV sellable. That makes it competitive. So again, as you can see, it's interlinked. If you want to sell your CV, you have to make it compelling. If you want to make it compelling, you have to possess a proper communication skill, so that you could actually craft your CV in a way that you can sell it. Then another point which is also relevant, which is again a topic to a different probably session or webinar, whatever you call it. It's your personal brand, as I mentioned in the beginning of this conversation. In most of the cases, it's your personal brand that helps your CV be sold quickly, make it successful, basically. So you really have to think about your personal brand, and your personal brand is a huge phenomenon which is everywhere, which is following you, especially in this social virtual world. So be really careful when it comes to your online presence. So sometimes your online, however cool is your CV, if your online presence is not good, literally speaking, it's not going to work, because most of the employers are paying really a great deal of attention to your personality, to your online presence, and what else, where else you can get information about candidates personality or their brand. Of course, on social media, be it on Facebook or LinkedIn. So try to use every this is another experience that I would really my observation actually on LinkedIn. I'm seeing that quite a few people, not just young people, mature people too, they're sharing some irrelevant stuff on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is, it was designed for it. It was designed for how to say for to do just your career enhancement. So I'm seeing that some people share some political stuff there, some religious stuff there. Guys, I'm not against that, and I'm not the one who can disallow you to do that. You can do that, but you have to be really really careful. Let me just. Are you with me, by the way, guys?
Yes, sir.
I've
Yes,
been
of course.
talking so
Right.
much. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
I've been talking nonstop. I'm like, oh, it's a little bit strange silence. So, oh, I can see now, you guys. Muhammad, it's good to see you. Thank you for
Thank you.
putting on your video. So, yeah, guys, they're so interlinked. Again, I'm not against sharing. How to say any stuff that you deem appropriate. But if you really want to make your online presence compelling, be relevant, guys. Whatever is the case. So I've seen many people. We've just gone through a conflict, a war, patriotic war. I'm sure you guys have heard, our international friends as well. So it's been a huge case for us. We have all been really concerned, and it was a big um, thing for all of us. But I didn't really find it appropriate to share that information on LinkedIn. I don't mean that we shouldn't do that. We should go for every opportunity to defend our righteous case, because it's well known that Azerbaijan was righteous. It was defending its lands, etc. So the reason, I know it's very sensitive example, but not that it doesn't add on your online presence. It's not helpful to communicate that kind of message on LinkedIn. So you can do it. Like, if you ask what is the best platform for communicating that kind of content, it's Twitter. It's not even Facebook. You can do it on Facebook too, but it's the best, the most relevant thing to communicate your personal agenda, or any religious, or be it um, any other observations. You have to use the appropriate platform, guys. So this is an ongoing, this can be an ongoing conversation. And if Afak, if there's any other question, if there are any other questions, I can
Yes,
take
too
a
many.
couple more. Yes, Mohammed, please go ahead.
Sure. As a fresh graduated, I just graduated 2 months ago in a mechanical engineering field with a master's degree here in Algeria. What you can advise me to write in my experience field, in my experience field?
Okay, so good question. I'm sure you had some experience in your academic
As
world.
an internship.
While you had some internships, yes? Is that
Yes,
what you're
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Why not? Internship is a job, actually, is an experience, and doesn't matter
Okay,
was it paid internship or unpaid. It's a great experience to put in your experience section. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, you had just. I mean, not just an internship. If you think that that internship is not enough, it's the only experience that you had, you can put there any experience that you had with your during your academic, like any administrative activity that you've been involved, or any other relevant, like you've been part of the project,
Yeah, like my
yeah, initiated by your university. So put them to. If you think one internship is not enough for your experience, you can add all of those activities that you've had while you studied at the university. But make sure, Mohammed, make sure it's relevant. Um, we've touched upon that. It needs to be a dynamic document. You need to look at the employer that you're going to be interacting, to look at the job description and make sure that it's relevant, it has the same language. Look at their website and see what is the language that they're using, what is the tone, what is their expectation, is there any new things that they're pursuing, any anything new in their agenda. Try to make it interlinked. Try to make it in a way that it reflects their values that we've talked about. So this is my main recommendations.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. My pleasure. Guys, I have
There are
to join. Yes. If you have to, we can take two more questions, please. Then I will have to
okay.
leave because I have another session to join.
Okay, I will choose two of them. The first one, Sevil Badalova says that what if we don't have any previous work experience? How we can make it seem more attractive? Like problem is I need a job to get experience, but I need experience to get a job.
Good point. But uh, I don't really believe that you guys, any of you, didn't have any experience. That's impossible. The life is all about experiences. What do you mean when you say I didn't have any experience? I'm sure if you studied at university, I'm sure you had plenty of experiences. It's the way how you look at this. Maybe I'm sure this. What was the name of the person asking question, please, Afag?
She was Sevil Badalova. Sevil.
Seville. I'm sure. Just reflect on your education, on any other personal endeavors that you could have. Actually, it's sometimes that we're not really attentive. We're not really seeing things that we have already done in the past. So even school kids have some experience looking at their the way that they now study. Even kids at school, they can say that, well, I have actually a good experience of using I have created a team in Teams, in Microsoft Teams. It's a small thing, but this is relevant for school. I'm sure for university you have had something that you did, but you're not aware. So just it's about thinking, seeing it differently. It's not possible that you guys didn't have anything while you started at university, especially in this age, in this virtual age. So yeah, that's my view on that.
And one of them, she or he says that Mehmet Azizov, can we make our CV colorful, more creative in order to draw companies' attention?
uh, uh, well, we're in oil and gas domain, right? So no. The short answer is no. If we talk about about our industry, about oil and gas industry, no. And I think it's same for many other industries, many other contexts, but with a few exceptions, like design industry. Yeah, unless you're applying to a design studio or design agency, or I don't know, Facebook, for example, a company who would basically, and given that it's a relevant job, you don't need to make it colorful. This is another observation, by the way, I'm seeing on LinkedIn and other channels, people are trying to make it, really colorful. No, colors are good, but they don't help you. What really help you is your summary, is your experience, which is full of facts and datas and figures, and your achievements, but not colors. Not in this case.
Thank you, Turkhan Bey. And I see that you are in hurry. Maybe can they ask their question to your, for example, LinkedIn account after this event?
Yes, of course. This is an exceptional case. I usually have at least 1 hour and a half for this kind of sessions, but now I'm seeing that people are nudging through the communicator. So yes, by all means, what I'm trying to do on LinkedIn, I'm like receiving questions from different people, and sometimes I answer directly, but sometimes I take it and I turn it into a whole post and post it on my LinkedIn page. If similar questions come about a specific topic, I look at them, I analyze, and I come up with my experience, with my thoughts, and I share a separate post. So please, by all means, you can connect with me and you can send me whatever question you have. In some cases, I will be answering right away when I have time. In some cases, I will be collecting similar questions and putting them as a separate post on LinkedIn. So yes, of course, by all means, send them over, any questions you have. And again, this is not the last session that we're having. We will have more, and with I hopefully in the future we have more time to for our session. But yeah, that's basically it. Someone is calling me too.
Thank you,
Okay.
Turkhan Bey. I understand, and we are really enjoyed, and I have learned a lot. And I am going to change my CV right now. I think most of the participants learned a lot too. Thank you again for joining us, and thank you everyone.
Thank you for having me. But again, don't think just about CV. Think about your just a very large summary. Think about CV. Think about your personal brand, and think about your network. It's all interlinked. So in the future, we will inshallah have a separate session on communication and on personal brand, which I hope you'll like too. Thank you for having me. Best of luck, guys.
Good luck
Thank
to
you.
know you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
Goodbye.
Turkhan Bey.
Thank you.
See you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a nice
Thanks
day.
a lot.
Bye, guys. You too.